no intention of engaging in conflict at that moment. Her objective lay in the rewards of the second level, and there was no need to tussle with rabid dogs at the entrance. Just as the members of the Dark Knight Guild prepared to enter the portal, the bald man suddenly halted. His gaze swept across the crowd before settling on a shadowy corner. There sat an individual, shrouded in a black cloak, their features obscured, rendering it impossible to discern their gender. This person sat there quietly, as though they were an island unto themselves amidst the surrounding clamor. Yet, on the ground beside them lay an intricately designed crossbow, its dark frame glinting with a chilling metallic sheen. It was the Night Hunter crossbow. Jiang Li's pupils dilated slightly. That was an item she had crafted herself. Pineapple beer? In an instant, Jiang Li formed a judgment. It was highly probable that this individual was indeed pineapple beer. The bald man clearly recognized the value as well. He fixated on the crossbow, a flicker of greed passing through his eyes. Hey, you in the black attire, he shouted. That crossbow of yours looks impressive. How much are you selling it for? Or why not join our Dark Knight Guild? I'll treat you well. The surrounding crowd fell silent, all eyes turning towards the cloaked figure. The individual did not stir, nor did they even lift their head. They remained seated, as if the bald man were conversing with the air itself. This blatant disregard evidently infuriated him. Damn it, you're asking for it, aren't you? He sneered, brandishing his great sword as he approached. I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? The atmosphere grew tense, anticipation crackling in the air. Jiang Li shifted her position with interest, curious to see how this taciturn top player would respond to such provocation. Just as the bald man was within 3 meters of the cloaked figure, a faint sound of air being sliced pierced the silence. No one could discern what transpired. All they witnessed was the bald man abruptly halt, clutching his right ear and emitting a shriek of agony. Blood seeped through his fingers. Meanwhile, embedded in the stone pillar behind him was a small crossbow bolt, its fletching still quivering. The bolt had narrowly grazed his ear. Had it deviated by but a centimeter, it would have pierced through his skull. The figure cloaked in black remained utterly still, not even lifting a finger. The crossbow was firmly embedded in the ground, as if it had never been disturbed. Leave. A voice emerged from beneath the cloak, uttering but a single word. The bald man clutched his ears, his complexion paling. He glanced at the bolt that had sunk 3 inches into the stone, then looked back at the black-clad figure, his fierce demeanor swiftly transforming into one of terror. A true expert reveals their prowess in an instant. The precision and velocity of that shot surpassed the limits of his comprehension. Let us go. The bald man gritted his teeth, casting a venomous glance at the cloaked figure before retreating into the portal with his subordinates, their defeat palpable. Silence enveloped the hall, only to be shattered moments later by a fervent chorus of discussion. Who was that? That was incredible. What speed was that? I didn't even see how they made their move. Was that a crossbow bolt? I thought it was a hidden weapon. Jiang Li observed the shadowy figure, nodding in agreement. Indeed, a formidable presence. Chapter 27. Elite monsters of the second floor. The commotion in the hall did not subside with the bald man's departure. Most opted to remain, as the hall offered safety from monsters and a gradual recovery of health. Perhaps we should just stick to the first floor, one suggested. The monsters there can be evaded, but I can only imagine the horrors of the second floor. A majority chose to prioritize their safety, clustering in corners of the hall, vigilant and awaiting the conclusion of the 24-hour countdown. Yet, some, unwilling to accept defeat, turned back to the first floor's labyrinth, hoping to uncover hidden treasures that had gone unnoticed. Is anyone interested in teaming up to explore the first floor? We can split the loot. My strength is at 11 points. Count me in. I'll join you. I have good stamina and plenty of health. Jiang Li paid no mind to the surrounding chatter, focusing instead on resting in the corner. She reorganized her backpack, relieved that she had previously expanded its capacity. Otherwise, she might have struggled to fit everything. To her surprise, she noticed a new item acquired from the dungeon marked in the upper right corner. Upon clicking, it displayed, temporary item. Can only be taken out upon surviving until the end of the dungeon. If you perish before its conclusion, these items will drop at the original location. Such a predicament seemed unfair, yet upon reflection, it was reasonable, likely intended to deter individuals from committing suicide after securing valuable items. Do you wish to venture to the second floor? Jiang Li inquired, having assessed that she genuinely wanted to accompany this healer. Me? I'm a bit afraid of hindering your progress. While she feigned indifference to the rewards, she certainly lacked confidence in her combat abilities. If you can consistently provide cake, I will do my utmost to protect you, distributing resources as needed. With Jiang Li's assurance, the Cake King felt emboldened. I have plenty of little cakes. I prepared in abundance since I couldn't acquire other food. Jiang Li nodded. Are you ready? Let us depart at once. The Cake King took a deep breath, gripping the spear tightly. Though his legs trembled slightly, his gaze was resolute. I'm ready, boss. Stay close and don't fall behind. Jiang Li nodded, opting not to follow the previous group into the unknown of the second floor. She decided to wait for a while, biding her time until the hall became less crowded, before she and the Egg Tart King approached the portal. With a hum, a wave of dizziness washed over her as the scenery transformed before her eyes. In the underground second level, Jiang Li surveyed her surroundings. The passage was considerably wider, yet visibility was severely limited due to a thin veil of black mist that lingered in the air, reducing clarity to less than 20 meters. Architecturally, it bore a striking resemblance to the first floor, characterized by a medieval stone brick style. There were no signs of recent visitors, indicating it was likely a random teleportation. Be cautious, Jiang Li whispered, positioning her dual axes protectively in front of her, while the Egg Tart King carefully trailed behind. As they rounded a corner, they had not ventured far when the heavy sound of footsteps emerged from the black fog. Clack, clack, clack. Jiang Li swiftly pulled the Egg Tart King back, moving quietly in reverse. Moments later, 3 towering figures materialized from the mist, 3 fully armored skeletal warriors, clad in chainmail and wielding broadswords. The soul flames flickering in their eye sockets glowed a menacing deep blue. Fortunately, due to their limited vision, they did not perceive Jiang Li in the distance, instead wandering aimlessly in the passage. Monster, Undead Guardian, LV6. Description: once elite guards of the underground city in life, they remain fiercely loyal to their territory in death. Possessing formidable defensive and offensive capabilities. Level 6 monsters. And there are 3 of them. A chill ran down Jiang Li's spine. Given her current attributes, she might manage to single-handedly confront one level 6 monster, but facing 3 simultaneously would spell trouble, especially if they managed to surround her. Their weapons were no mere trinkets. A blow from those great swords would likely inflict significant damage. Stay calm. Jiang Li assessed the terrain with a composed demeanor. They found themselves at a T-junction, adjacent to a narrow recess that could barely accommodate a person's frame. Egg tart, hide in that corner, she instructed, pointing to the recess. Okay. Though apprehensive, the Egg Tart King possessed remarkable execution skills and promptly crouched into the corner. Jiang Li, however, did not retreat. She rummaged through her backpack and retrieved a stone, aiming it at the nearest undead guardian. Go, she commanded. With a crack, the stone struck the skeleton's forehead with precision. Immediately after, Jiang Li darted into the recess. The undead guardian whirled around, letting out a fierce roar as it approached, sword raised. The other 2, though aware of the commotion, did not immediately fixate on her position, still meandering in place. The monster was successfully lured. The undead guardian advanced a short distance, sword in hand, but found nothing in sight. It swung its sword in a few circles and then turned back. Hearing the footsteps resume, Jiang Li cautiously peeked out, launching another stone at the back of the undead guardian's skull. With a hiss, the skeletal guardian, irritated by yet another blow, turned around and roared, brandishing its massive sword as it advanced swiftly towards this direction. Noticing the solitary guardian had strayed far from its comrades, Jiang Li revealed herself, leading the creature around a corner. Once past the corner, free from the threat of other guardians, Jiang Li unleashed her full offensive. Utilizing her impressive agility of 10, she deftly evaded the creature's powerful strike and, with her dual axes like the wind, delivered fierce blows to the unprotected joints of the skeleton. Clang, clang, sparks flew. Indeed, this foe's defenses were significantly superior to those of the basic skeletal soldiers. The impact of her axes sent a tremor through her wrists. Egg tart, Jiang Li called out. The Egg Tart King, hidden in a nearby recess, promptly tossed a strawberry cream cake. After a flurry of relentless strikes, the skeletal guardian at last succumbed, its knee shattered, causing it to kneel upon the ground. Die. Jiang Li seized the opportunity, bringing her axe down to shatter its skull. Skeletal guardian killed, experience points. 8 experience points? Jiang Li's eyes sparkled. Such generous rewards. It was worth noting that a basic skeleton only granted 2 points. This pace of leveling was surely swifter than grinding through the first layer. The Egg Tart King was equally exhilarated. I leveled up to level 2. Next. Jiang Li repeated her strategy, drawing in a second guardian. Thus, the duo worked in perfect harmony. Jiang Li lured and dealt damage while the Egg Tart King provided support from the rear, cheering and tossing cakes for health, occasionally using a spear to finish off or distract monsters attempting to flank them. Although the battles were somewhat strenuous, leaving Jiang Li panting after each encounter, the constant supply of cakes ensured they maintained a healthy status. An hour later, the intersection was strewn with shattered bones and tattered armor. Level progress, LV4, 95100. Gazing at the nearly full experience bar, Jiang Li felt her previous fatigue dissipate. One more kill, and she would level up. Just then, from the depths of the black mist ahead, a fierce commotion erupted, accompanied by the clashing of metal and the anguished cries of humans. Were those other players? Jiang Li exchanged a glance with the Egg Tart King. Shall we take a look? The Egg Tart King whispered. Be cautious, Jiang Li nodded, stowing her axes. The two stealthily approached. As they navigated through a veil of mist, the sight that greeted them was astonishing. In a spacious stone chamber, 2 factions confronted each other. The chamber appeared to be a boss room within the dungeon, with numerous passageways leading to it, and the one where Jiang Li and her companion stood was merely one of them. On one side, the arrogant bald man led the Nightshade Guild, now with only 7 members, all clad in matching pauldrons, as they besieged a colossal undead knight elite. On the opposite side lay several boxes on the ground, likely the spoils left behind by survivors who had been slain and could not carry them out. Clearly, a fierce battle had just transpired here. The Death Knight, whose health had already fallen below half, teetered on the brink of frenzy. The bald man, despite the bandages wrapped around his ears, remained fiercely determined. Don't retreat. Those with provisions in their packs should eat up, as this spawn is proving too much to handle. Jiang Li concealed herself in the shadows, observing the Death Knight. Death Knight, Elite LV10. Status, Berserk, an Elite of level 10. She was on the verge of leveling up. Should she conquer this foe, the experience gained would undoubtedly facilitate her advancement. However, the bald man's group, though somewhat disheveled, still possessed considerable combat prowess. To rush forth and claim the monster would be akin to extracting food from a tiger's mouth. It would be prudent to wait and further assess the strength of this band. Boss, shall we proceed? The Egg Tart King asked nervously, gripping his spear tightly. Jiang Li shook her head. Not yet. Let them fight first. This caliber of elite monster can unleash a fearsome counterattack when near death. The bald man may not withstand it. She resembled a patient hunter, silently lying in wait within the shadows. At that moment, the soul fire within the Death Knight's eyes blazed a vivid crimson. With a roar, the frenzy commenced. Chapter 28. Fighting side by side, the few survivors led by the bald man clearly had not